This is your baby. I'm your babysitter. You're the father. I'm here to help, but ultimately it's your fault.
Got it. Yeah, that's an accurate representation. I was trying to visualize that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All I can imagine is just like, you know that picture of Luca with a baby? And they always meme it with Devin Booker on it?
Yeah.
All I can imagine is my face over Luca and then behind the plays logo on the baby right now. So
I could see it, yeah.
if that's the thumbnail, don't mind me.
And who am I in this scenario? Like Mark Cuban? I'll take
I'm
that.
gonna put you as some random person in the back.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
All creation through bomb and form, the greatest to ever do it like Kareem in the form. Or Dame at the buzzer, Skip at the rucker. 96 Bulls, the GOAT, there's no other. Bulls and Goats get some wins, but never cover. The word gave the answer to sin. No stuff.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Behind the Plays. How am I so positive after that bummy game? Don't know. I had a great New Year's and a great Christmas, so we vibe. And I'm not alone. Eric is with me as always, man, myth, legend,
Hello.
co-host, the guy.
It's me. I'm here.
Yes, sir. We have a fun podcast episode today because
Yes,
now
we
we're
do.
doing better about talking about things. I think I'm doing better about organizing things to talk about.
Yeah, we're
I
cruising
said
now.
every Tuesday we talk. Eric and I'm like, hey, this looks like a good lineup. Any questions? He's like, nah, run it. And I'm like, cool.
This is
great.
this is your podcast. I just live in it.
Yeah, dude. Hey, listen, this podcast couldn't be you. It couldn't be it without you.
It's true, but this is your baby. I'm your babysitter. You're the father. I'm here to help, but ultimately it's your fault.
Got it. Yeah, that's an accurate representation. I was trying to visualize that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All I can imagine is just like, you know that picture of Luca with a baby? And they always meme it with Devin Booker on it?
Yeah.
All I can imagine is my face over Luca and then behind the plays logo on the baby right now. So
I could see it, yeah.
if that's the thumbnail, don't mind me.
And who am I in this scenario? Like Mark Cuban? I'll take
Yeah, I'm going
that.
to put you as some random person in the back.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
You're going to be Kyrie Irving in this image.
Man.
Anyway, guys, we have a great episode of the podcast for you today. Obviously, we're going to go over this Lions-Cowboys game. I feel like we can't have this episode without it. We're going to go over the playoff bracket and scenarios. We're going to talk about the Eagles. We're going to talk about them. We're going to do pick'ems, and then we're going to get up out of here. I do have something I want to say before we get going on the actual NFL games. We picked both college football games wrong.
Yeah, we did. I noticed that. I was like, we said Bama, Texas, and here we are.
Here we are with
Michigan,
Washington.
Yeah. Look at us.
Oh, can you tell we watched so much college football?
Yeah. But yeah, you can tell we're experts.
We're experts, man. Anyway, I thought it was funny. So, I picked Michigan to win that game, by the way. I could see Washington winning, obviously. They're playing really good football, but Michigan's defense
In the
is
Natty?
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, give me Michigan. Why not?
Michigan's defense has been insane.
Yeah.
So, I'm all for it.
J.J. McCarthy is, quote, the greatest quarterback in Michigan history, according to
Yes.
his head coach.
Correct.
And in his defense,
Tom Brady also
the
agreed.
greatest quarterback in Michigan history is probably not the greatest quarterback in Michigan history.
Correct.
You know,
That is
so
correct.
he has that going for him. I'm not going to say it's entirely inaccurate. I'm just we'll see.
It's a
for
crazy
sure.
concept. It's a crazy
Yeah.
concept, but not false.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Eric, this week we are wrapping up the regular season of the NFL. Crazy.
No, that's kind of nuts. I feel like we just started this.
I swear, January 6th, which that's
It feels like it was just yesterday that the Broncos were getting blown out by 50 points to the Dolphins.
it feels like just yesterday my team was 10-1.
Yeah.
At least we're in the playoffs. I guess.
You had that going for you.
have nothing
Broncos
to be
are
happy about.
Broncos are in a prime position to have a winning record for the first time in like 6 years. We got to go on the road in Vegas to do
you guys
that.
are 8-8.
We are 8-8.
You can do it. It's possible.
Yeah, we haven't had a winning record since the 2016 season.
That's
the year
crazy.
after we won the Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
We went 9-7. We were the first team out. I remember that. I believe we've been dog shit since.
Sounds accurate. That's crazy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, you know what? It is what it is. But a winning record would be really awesome. But
It would.
winning records involving two NFC teams where we had a very controversial call on a 2-point conversion to end the football game was what happened. So I want to talk and move over to the Lions playing the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys did win this game 20-19 at the end of it. The referee team was banned from the playoffs this year.
Did you know that they're refereeing? I believe it's the Texans-Colts game now.
That's
crew.
hilarious.
It's one of the two Saturdays. I think it's
the
Texans
Steelers Ravens. I thought I saw.
It
something
might be
about the
Steelers Ravens.
game.
I know it's one of the two. I know it's one of the two Saturday games.
But yes, I did see that. But they cannot ref in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
all right. So hit me. What we saw him go report.
Yes.
We saw it on the screen.
The full breakdown. Jared Goff goes and tells Taylor Decker, number 68, go report because we're running our play. And he goes over and tells the ref that I'm reporting as eligible. And at the same time, number 70 on the Lions, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
Lions depth chart.
Dan Skipper.
Dan Skipper. That sounds familiar.
Is that
That sounds accurate, I should say.
Dude, he's 6'10".
Yeah, offensive linemen tend to do that.
Nah, bro. Kelsey's like 6'2", dog.
Well, Kelsey's also an extremely small offensive lineman. Not
Dude,
like
he's
he's a little
6'10"?
undersized. No, he's extremely undersized.
Dude, how tall is Lane Johnson? I know Mylata's big. Mylata's like 6'8". Lane Johnson's 6'6". Like, that's big. Don't get me wrong, but this he's 6'10".
Yeah.
Dude,
Anyways.
that's taller than LeBron.
He goes and tells Taylor Decker to report. At the same time, Dan Skipper is coming onto the field. The ref misinterprets what is being said to him. He informs them that number 70 is the eligible receiver. They run their play, throw it to Taylor Decker, who is not number 70. He is an ineligible receiver, according to what the refs had said.
Correct.
And that's a penalty. So you can't do that.
Right.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here very quickly. Okay? What the Lions did was very, very, very intentional. They told Taylor Decker to go report at the same time as sending Dan Skipper onto the field. The intention being that the Cowboys don't know exactly who's reporting as eligible.
Right.
Which is the point. I believe that was on purpose. So the point is to fuck up the Cowboys sideline. They ended up fucking up the Zebras, which is unfortunate. And I'll play devil's advocate one more time. Okay, you throw that play, doesn't work, back them up 5, do it again. And they decide to go for 2.
Yeah.
And then they run the play, and the Cowboys are off sides.
Right.
So you push them forward 5. And then the Lions ran another play.
They don't go 5. They get half the distance to the goal.
Half the distance. You're right.
So they go to like the 4.
They go to like the 3.5, whatever it is. Yes. They run another play, and then that's the play that fails, and ultimately the Cowboys win off of that. So to be fair,
absolutely,
the Lions technically could have kicked the PAT and sent it to overtime. That's a little bit more of a certain thing. And they had not 1, not 2, but 3 opportunities to do that technically.
Correct.
So the ref's decision did not lose the Lions the game.
Agreed.
In a technical sense. But the ref's decision lost the Lions the game abso-fucking-lutely.
Yes.
Like, there are a lot of things that have happened in the NFL. You know, missed PI calls. PI calls that maybe shouldn't have been called. Ghost PI calls. Ruling that things are catches when they're not. Ruling that things aren't catches when they are. That do have, interpret the outcome of the game. And at the end of the day, those are kind of... It's why baseball umpiring is the way it is. Because at the end of the day, those are judgment calls made by the referees.
Correct.
And if they made the wrong judgment, it sucks. It shouldn't be fair. It's not fair, but it's part of the game.
Right.
But something like this is a little bit different because this isn't a referee judgment call. This is the referee straight up
messing up.
Like they messed up, and yeah, that's the unfortunate circumstance here. And the thing is if this was like, I don't know, I'm trying to look at a game that did not matter at all this week. If this was like Niners Commanders, I don't think this would be as big of a deal. If this is like Falcons Bears, I don't think this would be as big of a deal. You know? Mm-hmm. But this was the Lions and the Cowboys.
It's a tiebreaker game.
It's a tiebreaker game. This game determines seeding in the NFC playoffs.
And big seeding, because the Lions could, if they win this game,
they could get the 1 seed still.
And they could get the 1 seed still, but they are the 2 seed at worst. They're the 2 seed at worst.
Yes.
Because of they would have strength of schedule over the Eagles, even if the Eagles won, and they would have the tiebreaker over the Cowboys, and a game over the Cowboys. So
exactly. So worst case scenario, the Lions are the 2 seed, and are probably playing, you know, the worst team in the NFC playoffs, statistically speaking, which is probably like the Packers or Seahawks or maybe the Saints at this point.
Yeah,
which I think is a much easier matchup than playing against the Rams.
Correct.
Where you have Matt Stafford in Detroit with revenge on his mind, you know? So I think that's another very suspicious thing, too, is that the Rams are currently the 6 seed and the Lions are currently the 3 seed, where that's a thing, and this would not be the situation had the Lions won this game.
Yeah, and then the Cowboys, who've been out of their mind at home, this season, now get most likely 2 home games.
Mm-hmm.
And we very well could have this exact same football game in the divisional round.
It's true. So,
as long as nothing crazy happens.
The refs blew this call. I think the Lions should be protesting this game and urging Roger Goodell to overturn the outcome of this game.
Because he won't, but... He
won't. I mean, they didn't do it with the... You remember at the time, the Washington Redskins, the 5th down game?
Yes. Yeah, that was crazy.
If that shit didn't get overturned, this won't.
Right. And even further, like, something else that I really don't like is when things are blatantly obvious, not being able to go back and like, hey, let's run this back or let's do this.
Yeah.
Because, for example, the playoff game, Saints-Rams, blatant PI. You should be able to throw your flag after the fact. Because in the NBA, you can go back and review it, and it's a foul. They'll call it.
Yeah.
Like if they miss it, like if there's a reviewable play or it's like a big play, they will go back, review it, and they can call it. There's certain plays where they can't call a foul, but like if they blow their whistle and they go to review it, they can't. So it's like it's super frustrating. In NFL, you should be able to reverse that because that was blatant.
I think you should. I mean, they tried that after that season. It was challenging PI calls or non-PI calls, and I think it only ended up working like once for the team that challenged it, so they got rid of the rule because they're like, "This is stupid. Sorry, Sean Payton, you got to live with the circumstances." Yeah, that was a PI call at the end. Yeah, that should have been called, but at the end of the day, that's a ref's judgment call.
True, this is not.
So exactly, like I understand why that wasn't called. Exactly, the Lions did everything right, and the refs blew it for them. You know, it's not like there's a difference between a pre-snap and a post-snap penalty.
Correct.
Because post-snap, when the action is happening, those are judgment calls by the referees. Pre-snap is, no, you know the rule book and you know what's being asked of you to do and you know what's being told of you to do.
Right.
And the refs did not execute in that manner.
Right.
So, yeah, I think the Lions should be protesting this game and begging for a different outcome. It won't happen, but it's the principle more than anything.
Yeah. So, you know? It's frustrating. So that was something I really wanted to talk about. And honestly, the difference is that if both of these teams win their first round playoff game, the game is played in Dallas, not Detroit.
And that's what matters a lot is where the rematch potentially is being
that's
played.
Not even true, because if the Lions won this football game, the Eagles would be the 3 seed, even with their loss.
Well, even then, the Cowboys would be the 5 seed and probably beat whoever wins from the South.
And then go to the Niners.
And then they would go to San Francisco. So yeah, good point.
So then
Lions,
unless the Eagles lose, they wouldn't go back to Dallas, or Dallas wouldn't go to play Detroit. Which at this rate, I don't know what the Eagles are doing. So
I don't know. It's a mess for sure.
It is a mess, and it
changes
shook everything up. Look how big that shakes up.
It changes the entirety of the NFC. The
fact that Cowboys are a 5 seed, Lions are 2 seed, guaranteed 2 seed at worst. Eagles become 3 seed with beat the Giants are the 3 seed, and you get a home playoff game. Win your division for the only time in the last 20 years we've had a repeat division winner in the NFC East. So we haven't had it in a long time, and it's probably not going to happen this year. So
probably not. No.
It'd be some
the Eagles
weird
have been playing. Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, probably. Do we beat the Giants? Probably. Do the Cowboys lose to the Commanders? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
So it's kind of weird to rely on. Which really sucks that I don't know what the tiebreaker is at this point. I think it's conference.
I do not know.
It's conference because we lost the Cardinals and the Seahawks in those spans. And then their games they lost recently were Bills, Dolphins, you know?
Right. Bunch of AFC teams.
And we beat them, so. Hate to see it, man. Because, yeah, we've been losing too. We lost the Seahawks, we lost the Cowboys, we lost the Niners. Literally all the NFC matchups we lost in these last games. We lost Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks, Cardinals. Like, just win one of those. Any one of those 4 games you win, and you're pretty much the NFC East champion. Tough.
I don't know. It's a mess for sure.
Tough. Anyway, we'll talk more about that with the Eagles, but yeah, the Lions could easily be a 2 seed, potential 1 seed here, and that really sucks for them. I'm actually devastated for them. That's tough. Well, speaking of playoffs and brackets and all that fun stuff, let's take a look at the actual standings that are going on in the NFL. We had both 1 seeds clinched this week. Ravens won, Niners won in very commanding fashion both ways. So they are both their 1 seeds. The 3 seeds are all but locked up. I think that for sure AFC, I don't know if the NFC can move because the Cowboys hold the tiebreaker over the Lions, but they have the same record, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
So if the Cowboys lose, Lions win, they would go for them.
Right. So the scenario would be if Cowboys lost and then the Lions and Eagles won. Who's the 2, who's the 3 between the Lions and the Eagles? I think is the question.
Let's find out. Let's see. I wonder. I need to look at the tiebreakers again because then I can determine this really quick.
It would go to conference record.
Oh, I guess that's the first tiebreaker always.
They would be tied.
Who do the Lions play?
Lions play the Vikings.
Okay, so let's say scenario we both win, right? We'd both be 8-4
in the conference.
Correct. Now I gotta figure out the tiebreaker procedures.
The Eagles would be 5-1 in the division, where the Lions would be 4-2. If that
the division doesn't matter for out of different divisions. So this is.
It would be best won and lost tie percentage in common games. So what common games would they use?
That's a good freaking question. Hold on. So it's 2 or more clubs. So head-to-head, we didn't play. Best win-loss played within conference. It'd be tied. Best one in common games. So Cowboys, we would be
1-1.
We 1-1. They are 0-1.
0-1. But I think they beat.
We played the Vikings.
You've both lost to the Seahawks.
We both played the Vikings. We beat the Vikings. They beat the Vikings. They would beat the Vikings a second time. So that would be 2-1 both ways. 2-2. I don't know the rest of the schedules like that. Hold on, let me look. Lions schedule. Eagles schedule. This is fun. I love doing these scenarios.
Eagles didn't play the Broncos.
We did not.
Did the Eagles play the Bears?
We did not.
Did the Eagles play the Saints?
We did not.
Did the Eagles play the Packers?
We did not.
Did you play the Bears? No, you played the Vikings.
No, we played the Vikings. Here, I can go through this list. Do you have the line schedule up?
I can pull it up.
Oh, I have both pulled up. I can just do this real quick. I can make this really easy. Okay, so they have played. Priest. We both played the Chiefs. We both beat the Chiefs. We both lost to the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. We did not play the Falcons. We did not play the Packers. We did not play the Panthers. We both played the Bucks. We both beat the Bucks. So far 2-1 from what I'm understanding, both of us. We didn't play the Ravens. We didn't play the Raiders. We didn't play the Chargers. We didn't play the Bears. We did not play the Packers. We did not play the Saints. Wait. Yeah, we didn't play the Saints. We didn't play the Bears. We did not play the Broncos. We beat the Vikings. They beat the Vikings. They lost. We'd be tied.
So you'd be tied in common games.
Yes, everything is tied because they would, if they win, they'd be 2-0.
So then it would be strength of victory in all games.
Wait, do they get it over us because of the Vikings? Now I'm thinking about it because we split with the Cowboys. Hold on, let's run it back one more time. I'm gonna run it back one more time.
Keep track. 2-0 with the.
So we both beat the Chiefs. So we're both 1-0.
Yeah.
1-1 because we both lost to the Seahawks.
Right.
We didn't play the Falcons. We didn't play the Packers, Panthers. We both played the Bucks. We both beat the Bucks.
So 2-1.
Ravens, Raiders, Chargers, Bears, Packers, Saints, Bears, Broncos, Vikings. We beat the Vikings.
So you're 3-1. They're 3-1.
They also beat the Vikings.
Right.
So they both 3-1.
They're both 3-1.
So we would lose to we split with the Cowboys.
So you're 4-2.
They'd be 3-2, right?
And if they beat the Vikings, they'd be 4-2.
So we'd be split. Okay. So it's the same. So strength of victory in all games. I don't know.
I don't know how that fucking works. I can tell you strength of schedule because that's Googleable.
Eagles, Lions.
NFL strength of victory.
Strength of victory. The Eagles' strength of victory is at 4.82. With the Lions at 4.36. Theoretically, this tiebreaker could change if a bunch of teams the Lions beat, but the Eagles didn't win over the last 2 weeks, but it's not very likely. Who has the tiebreaker?
It seems like the Eagles would have the tiebreaker over the Lions.
I'm going to read it now. After losing the Cowboys, the Lions now do not hold the tiebreaker over the Cowboys head-to-head nor the Eagles. Philly currently holds common games 4-2, but if the Lions win, it'd be 4-4, 4-2, 4-2. But beyond that, the Eagles currently hold the next tiebreaker strength of victory. That isn't likely to change week 18. That's all said. If the Lions want the 2 seed, they're going to have to finish with a better record than both the Eagles and the Cowboys. So that means both of us have to lose our games and the Lions have to win their game. That's essentially the only way they get the 2 seed. Which means we would be sitting at 5, and then so on and so forth. So if we win, we would have strength of victory. So basically, the Eagles can get the 2 seed still. We have to win. The Cowboys have to lose, and that's it. Straight up. That's fine.
Okay.
I could. That's way simpler than I thought it was after reading all the tiebreaker nonsense. And it came all the way to strength of victory, though. That's kind of crazy.
So then, aren't the Lions guaranteed the 3 seed?
No, because if the Cowboys and the Eagles both lose, they're the 2 seed.
Right. Okay.
So technically, no. Is it likely? Right. No. I think one of the Eagles or Cowboys are going to win their game.
Okay. So then it seems pretty likely that we're going to get a Matt Stafford revenge tour game.
Correct.
Which is cool.
But there's a chance that the Rams drop to the 8th,
It's
17th.
Cool, but it's mad sus. You got to admit, right?
Not really. It's fun. I don't think it's sus. I guess technically with the Cowboys game, it becomes sus.
I think it's sus on behalf of the NFL because that's going to be a really important and really cool game that the Lions have now lost because the refs blew it for them and would not be happening otherwise.
True. Valid. That's very valid. Dang.
I don't know. It's whack.
A little sus. So, outside of that, let's look at the current other situations that are going on. Because we'll go down the NFC first since we're kind of there. We know the Niners clinched. The Cowboys are in the playoffs. Now, we obviously talked about how they can move, where they can move to. The Lions have talked about the Eagles, Rams. The Rams did clinch their playoff spot this week. Obviously, they could still fluctuate within their division, but the 4 seed is not locked yet. Because the Buccaneers did lose this week, the NFC South winner is still has potential. Because if the Bucs lose their game, the winner of Saints Falcons actually gets the 4 seed.
Yes. I'm double checking the thing right now.
I know for sure because I looked at it earlier. The Falcons, literally, they just need the Bucs to lose. If the Bucs win, they're in.
Yeah, Bucs are win and in.
And the Saints, if the Saints win, they can still get a wild card spot with some other help. But the Falcons, if the Bucks win, the Falcons are mathematically eliminated.
Yeah. If the Bucks lose, they're basically mathematically eliminated.
They're out. Yeah, they're out.
Oh yeah, no. If the Bucks lose, they're out.
I don't think there's a chance for them to get in because I think
the way they get in and not win the South is if they tie, and Seattle loses and Green Bay loses. So they would have to tie.
That's
Carolina.
the only way.
Yes, if other than winning the game, they can also tie their game and New Orleans lose and they win the South.
Tampa Bay clinches South title with win, clinches a playoff berth. They have to tie, and Seattle and Green Bay have to lose. That's crazy.
Yes.
Or Green Bay can tie. That's insane.
So Tampa's in a win-and-in situation. That game's going to matter a lot.
Obviously, and they're playing Carolina, which is Carolina.
Which, to be fair, it is in Carolina, though.
Yeah, and who knows?
If you've been looking at the home attendance numbers for the Carolina Panthers, that's not saying much.
No, not at all. Their tickets have been super cheap. Yeah, Seattle, and then next up on the Packers are my next on the list to look at here because they clinch a playoff spot with just a win. They play Chicago at home. It's a simple time.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways that the Packers can get in. The easiest way is win.
Correct. Win and you're in.
They can still get in if Minnesota and Seattle lose, and then one of Tampa and New Orleans lose.
Correct. Yeah, Minnesota and Seattle both lose.
There's some weird scenarios where the Green Bay Packers tie their game.
Yeah, that's a lot of weird scenarios. But yes, right now Green Bay can get in with a win.
So Minnesota is not mathematically eliminated, by the way. I just now saw this.
I'm looking at it now as well, and I realized I didn't put them as mathematically eliminated on my sheet. There's a way for them to get in, and we'll go over that in just a minute.
Yeah.
Because next up on the list is the Saints. Or the Seahawks. I'm sorry. Let's talk the Seahawks because they're at the 8th seed. They need to win, and they need Green Bay to lose.
Seahawks need some help. Yeah, Seahawks need some help. The easiest way is win and for Green Bay to lose.
Correct. And they're in.
Which Bears have been pretty hot. I don't think that's impossible.
It's not impossible. And they play Arizona, who's also hot, though. So.
And it's in Soldier Field, too, right?
No, it's at Lambeau. Game?
It's at Lambeau? Okay.
Yeah, that's where it's like, that's why I'm
That's kind of tough, then. Yeah, that's kind of tough.
Correct. They also could tie, and then Green Bay loses, and then they get a loss or tie from either Tampa Bay or New Orleans, and then they're in for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So, who's next on my list? The Saints. Did we already talk about the Saints?
We did not talk about the Saints.
So the NFC South
Saints
division title can get in from either the Falcons or the Saints here, by the way, with a win and a Tampa Bay loss, or a tie and a Tampa Bay loss. I'm sorry, New Orleans only gets in with a tie.
So basically, if Carolina wins, whoever wins between the Saints and the Falcons is in as the 4 seed.
Correct.
Do they play at the same time?
No clue. New Orleans plays Sunday at 1, probably.
I'm double checking. Both play at 1 a.m. Eastern time or 1 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. So they're playing at the same exact time.
Perfect. So we'll have playoff clinching scenarios easily Sunday. Cool. So they win. They also can get in the playoffs still with a win, a Seattle loss or tie, and a Green Bay loss or tie. Or if they tie and both Seattle and Green Bay lose, they're in. So there's still some scenarios where they get in with those weird scenarios. But the Saints need some help. The Vikings are the only other team that needs like a plethora of help to get in. They're not done. Oh God, I cut out.
Did I lose you?
Yeah, you did. Okay, here we go. Okay. Sorry about that. It's like the same time every day. I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
So Minnesota needs help. So they can clinch a playoff berth they have to win. Number one thing, they have to win. Then they need Green Bay and Seattle to lose, and then they need either Tampa Bay or New Orleans to lose. It's one of the 3 things have to happen, then it has to be one or the other.
Who does Seattle play? Arizona?
Seattle plays Arizona in Arizona.
Okay. So
we kind of know what everybody's playing, and we see like New Orleans has a chance to lose because Atlanta's playing for a playoff spot. They're home though. It's in New Orleans. Minnesota is playing Detroit, which it's in Detroit. Don't know how that's gonna go.
Detroit is playing to
They could still get the 2 seed.
To steal the 2 seed, yeah.
Of course, they're still playing for something. So
and guarantee that their divisional round is in Detroit.
Correct. That would be huge for them. So yeah, there's the rest of the playoff scenarios involving. I guess I didn't talk about the Falcons, but I mean, realistically, it's just
Falcons are in the same situation. Falcons are in the same situation the Saints are.
They cannot get the wild card.
Worse. Yeah, Falcons cannot steal a wild card. They got to win, and the Bucks have to lose.
Correct. That's it. That's the only way they get in. That is it. And they're in though. If both things happen, they're in. Now, these ones are a little more weird, I think, in the AFC because of how many tiebreakers there are in this. Because everyone from the 7th seed to the 9th seed.
There's also less teams.
Yes.
Guaranteed a spot right now. So there's more. There's still 3 spots left, whereas the NFC only has 2 spots left.
Correct. And 3 teams are competing, just like the NFC, 3 teams are competing for the South. On a little bit of a better record.
Jags, Texans, Colts.
Correct. And then Bills and Steelers are also playing for the remainder of the playoff spots there in the wild card. And there's a strong chance that even if the Colts or Texans, the loser of that game, even if the Jags lose, I think can still sneak in, but it's a tough time. They need a little bit of help. So we're going to look at all the playoff clinching scenarios there. I'm starting with Buffalo because they are the first person on my list. We know the Ravens have clinched. The AFC runs through Baltimore. The Chiefs are locked at the 3 seed, and the Dolphins have made playoffs as long as the Browns are locked at the 5 seed because we did the tiebreakers with Buffalo and Miami. Mm-hmm. No matter what, Browns and Chiefs, Ravens are all locked in their spots. Mm-hmm. The 2 seed is up for grabs because the Bills could beat the Dolphins, and that would mean they would be the AFC East champions, which means that they would win the division, and they'd be the 2 seed.
They have the tiebreaker with the Chiefs because they beat the Chiefs.
Because they beat the Chiefs, and they would tie in their record. The Jags are not locked in, of course, because Colts, Texans, the Jags lose, Colts, Texans win, they leapfrog, they're in, right? Mm-hmm. So we know that. So let's go with the playoff clinching scenarios here. Buffalo can win the AFC East title by winning the football game. They play the Dolphins in Miami. If they win, they are AFC East champions. I'm sorry, not NFC. And they will be the 2 seed. Mm-hmm. However, they can clinch a playoff berth scenario with a tie. If they just tie, they are in. Fun fact. Pittsburgh loses, Jacksonville loses, or Houston, Indianapolis tie. So literally, if any of those things happen, they're in the playoffs. So
Bills are likely going to the playoffs.
Correct. I think they're 94% chance to get in, basically. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So that's crazy. That's pretty much it. They should be in. They're the only 10-win team out of those weird teams there that are on the fringe spot and not locked in. So they could definitely get in. Houston. We'll talk to them next. They somehow are still alive even after the couple weeks without CJ Stroud. They can clinch the South title with a win or a Jacksonville loss. I'm sorry, a win plus a Jacksonville loss or tie. Mm-hmm. That's how they win the South. If they do not win the South, they can still get into the playoffs by winning because Jacksonville could lose. Or, actually, they just win and they are in guaranteed. They are in the playoffs no matter what. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm noticing.
Right. Yeah, if Houston wins, they're in.
Yes.
If Houston wins and Jacksonville loses, they play their game in Houston. They win the South.
Correct. So no matter what, if they win, they are a playoff team. That is huge for them. Because we did not expect them to be. However, if they do happen to not win their game, they can tie. And if Jacksonville loses plus Pittsburgh loses or ties, they're in. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, the loser of that game is out of the playoffs. Colts, Texans. I just realized. I lied to you earlier. I apologize.
Yes, they would have to tie or win.
Correct. Indianapolis, same scenario. Literally almost identical scenario. If Indy wins and Jackson loses or ties, they're in the AFC South. Champion. If they tie and Jacksonville loses, they also win. There you go. They can make the playoffs with their win. So, yeah. So, basically, winner of Colts Texans is locking a playoff spot.
Mm-hmm. They lock a spot. We just don't know what spot.
We just don't know what spot yet, right?
They're either going to Buffalo/Miami or at home against Cleveland.
Yeah. So they are basically they'll know what's happening Sunday because they play they will know after their game because they play Saturday night, and the Jacksonville Jaguars don't play till Sunday afternoon. So for you morning, but Jacksonville. So Indy also could play as a win or a tie plus Pittsburgh loss or tie. Same, literally exact same scenario. Identical, except for Houston still needs Jacksonville to lose in both scenarios. That's the only difference. I'm sorry, Houston needs Jacksonville to lose in both scenarios. Jacksonville plays Tennessee. They just win.
They win the South.
If they win their game, they win the South, no questions asked, okay? If they do happen to lose their game, they can still make the playoffs.
This one and there's one for the Steelers that are really cool scenarios.
Yeah, so Jacksonville
because they could still lose and make it as long as Houston and Indy has a winner and they don't tie.
Correct. Yeah, they just have to have a winner.
Pittsburgh loses Saturday morning.
Correct.
Or Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And then Denver actually loses to Vegas. I've been on an Oakland tear today. I don't know why.
It's okay. You're upset. I understand why. But yeah, because I'm pretty sure it came down to a strength of victory thing with Denver.
With the Raiders.
Yeah, with them losing games or winning something weird like that. So it helps strength of victory, which boosts the Jacksonville Jaguars up. So that means they would actually make the playoffs as a wild card. Crazy.
It's nuts. It's cool.
They also could tie. If they tie plus Houston and Indianapolis tie, they win the South, by the way. That's also a funny scenario. And then Jacksonville ties and Pittsburgh loses, they're also in the game, in the playoffs. So there's that. Miami's in the playoffs. Doesn't matter. They win the title by winning this game or tying the game.
Yeah,
that's it.
Miami's in, but if they win or tie, then they win the East.
Basically, it comes down to the difference between them playing like essentially the winner of the. It could be the Bills again because the Bills could drop below the Colts or Texans. But essentially, the difference between them playing a home game against the Colts, Texans, or Bills, or going on the road to play the Chiefs. That's literally the two scenarios here. Is what I think we learned. But I'm not 100% certain. There's some ways and there's some weird stuff with it. But I don't know all the tiebreakers. They don't have them all online. And finally, the fun team that's somehow still here, the 9-seeded Pittsburgh Steelers, after winning their 9th football game this season. Mike Tomlin's streak is alive. Has not had a losing season. By the way,
17 years.
17 straight seasons. I think the record's 22.
Who did 22 seasons?
Couldn't tell you.
What? Probably like somebody in the 40s maybe or something?
Most consecutive winning seasons NFL. It was. I remember this. All time. I lied to you. It was 20? No, this is teams. I need coaches, bro. I need coaches.
Tom Landry, 21 consecutive non-losing seasons.
I apologize.
That was the Cowboys.
Yes, Dallas Cowboys.
Bill
Belichick
is
18.
Or
19.
19.
Yep. Crazy. All right.
Pretty nuts.
So, even after that, though, Pittsburgh can get into the playoffs if they win their football game. They just win the game.
And get a little help. They need a little help.
Buffalo. Wait, does Buffalo get bounced if they win? Or does it come? Do they all get a tiebreaker at 10-7 and Buffalo gets out of playoffs if they lose their game?
If Pittsburgh wins and Buffalo loses,
do they get a 3-way tiebreaker weird scenario which makes them better? Like instead of
the thing would be Jacksonville. Because if Jacksonville wins and Pittsburgh wins and Buffalo loses, and Houston Indy doesn't end in a tie, Buffalo's out.
Oh, okay. I see. Because Buffalo could... Because that's a really weird scenario. So, the big thing is Pittsburgh... I don't know how the 3-way tie works, but yeah, anyway. We're fine. So, Pittsburgh wins, Buffalo loses, they're in. If Pittsburgh wins and Jacksonville loses, they're in. Pittsburgh wins, Houston, Indianapolis tie, they're in. Okay? All those scenarios if Pittsburgh wins. If they tie, Jacksonville loses, and then Houston and Indy doesn't end in a tie, they're in. Or... they just lose their game. Just say they lose their game, right? If Jacksonville loses, Denver wins, and Houston and Indy doesn't end in a tie, they're in. So, 2 teams are rooting for Denver to win their games, is what I'm seeing right now, regardless of scenario.
No. Pittsburgh is rooting for Denver to win. Jacksonville's rooting for Denver to lose.
Sorry, that's what it is. Yeah, so if Denver wins, Pittsburgh has a chance to get the tiebreaker weird because Denver's strength of schedule. And then also the other way, they want Vegas' strength of schedule for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's basically what it was. Crazy.
Nuts.
Wild playoff scenarios, I'm saying. But yeah, the Bears have clinched the first pick in the draft, by the way, with the Panthers record.
Because, the Panthers officially are guaranteed, would have the first pick in the draft. They are, even if they win, that puts them at 3-14.
Next
best case scenario. Cardinals, Commanders, Patriots all have 4 wins. So yes, the Panthers are guaranteed the first overall pick, but the Bears own that pick, so the Bears have it.
Which is crazy.
That's what the Panthers get for trading for Bryce Young. Consequences meet actions.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And you know who traded picks and somehow was a playoff contender? The Texans.
Weird
How that works, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want to talk about it. All right. Eagles played the Cardinals this week. And the Eagles, after coming off a win against the Giants, if you want to call it that, they went and lost at home against Arizona, 35-31. Jonathan Gannon revenge game was a success for him. The Eagles have skidded 4 of their last 5 games. They lost to the Niners, the Cowboys, then the Seahawks, all in succession. Beat the Giants, lost to the Cardinals this week. Before I talk, what are your opinions on this skid from the Eagles?
We saw a similar skid take place a few years ago with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
Where they were undefeated. We're like, why the fuck are they undefeated? And they lost like 4 straight, or something like that.
They
at
lost
the end of
like
the year.
same exact thing, like 4 of the last 5. They went like 11-5,
something like
that. Yeah.
Yeah. But made the playoffs. Had a home game, and I believe lost that home game.
Correct.
I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a similar situation happen to the Eagles, but obviously if the Eagles potentially are playing their game on the road.
Right.
I think there are some personality mismatches between the Eagles players and player personality mismatches, and I think player coach mismatches personality wise.
Yeah.
Because it seems like their OC, their DC aren't communicating very well with their players, and it feels like the players are kind of not communicating very well. It feels like Jalen Hurts is a little bit of a, dare I say, quarterback. Because Jalen Hurts is the type you ask him, Jalen Hurts, why do you suck so bad? He's like, it's a learning opportunity. We bounce back, we look forward to next week. Whereas if you ask like AJ Brown, why do you suck so bad? AJ Brown's gonna be like, I don't fucking know. Our coaches, our players, this guy.
Yeah. To be fair, he hasn't spoke to the media in 2 weeks, so
he hasn't. I'm saying like
in general,
that's their personality. Yeah, Jalen Hurts is a little bit of a quarterback.
Yeah,
shockingly.
Yeah, it's almost like that's his position.
Weird, right?
Weird, right?
So, do I think the Eagles are imploding? Yes. Do I think the Eagles are imploded? No.
Okay.
Because I feel like this is definitely an internal thing from the Eagles. I think the teams that they are playing are either worse than the teams that the Eagles have lost to are either worse than the Eagles objectively, or is genuinely a coin flip. Like, I think in a vacuum, the Eagles beat the Cardinals, I think 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
I think the Eagles
Seahawks game, honestly.
I think the Eagles beat the Seahawks probably like 7 out of 10 times, but same idea.
Yeah.
The Cowboys game, honestly, that's whoever's at home, I think.
That's why
genuinely.
It's coin flip.
That happens every year. The Niners game, I think that one's probably a little bit, I don't want to say deserved, but that's a tough game to win.
Yeah.
But, I mean, because the Eagles are also beating teams like the Bills, beating teams like the Chiefs. beating. So it's not like the Eagles are hopeless and are horrible. Like, exactly. Like, the Eagles have beaten good teams and have lost to bad teams.
Yeah.
So I think the Eagles have an outside shot looking in at a Super Bowl appearance. Yeah, because at this point, I feel like the Eagles have an outside shot looking in at like a divisional round appearance. Like, obviously, they're locked into the playoffs. I think they could win a divisional game depending on how seeding shakes out.
Well, we'll be the 5 seed out at worst, right? Which means we'll go on the road and play probably like, let's say the Bucks, because I think that's the best team that out of the 3 that we would play. Yeah,
I think worst case scenario,
I think we could go into Tampa and win. We did it earlier in the season.
I think it's definitely tougher to go win in Tampa than it would be to go win in Atlanta or win in New Orleans for sure.
Yeah. So I want to run you through the playoff teams that the Eagles have beaten this season, right? Because this is something that I've had a conversation about with people.
Yeah.
We played the Buccaneers week 3 in Tampa and beat them by 2 touchdowns. This is, and we're like, oh, the Buccaneers weren't hot yet. They started 2-0. We were their first loss.
Yeah, they were hot. I think, to be fair, the Eagles weren't imploding yet.
Also valid.
To play,
I think
to
more
play
so
devil's
than
advocate.
More so anything, we weren't bad yet.
Yeah, the Eagles were still hot.
Correct. We beat the Rams in LA by 9. We won in SoFi. Okay. This is before we lost the Jets. Then we lost the Jets. Then we went and beat Miami by 2 touchdowns at home. We beat them at home. Okay. We beat the Cowboys at home. I'll say at home. I understand. Won by 5. That's 4 playoff teams I've named in a row, by the way. Those are wins. We beat the Chiefs. That's a playoff team. We beat the Bills. That is a current playoff team.
Most likely a playoff team.
Most likely. That is what? 6 games? 7 games I've named? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's a strong chance we play 2 of them. Did we lose to the Niners? Yes. Did we lose to the Cowboys again? Yes. Do we have to probably play the Cowboys at home? Yes. But we also have to play the Niners on the road. So it's like, it's going to be a tough time, regardless. You only can play in front of you. We have to play these people regardless. We're going to have to do it. The biggest issue that I'm running into as a fan has been closing games. Because there have been scenarios where we have had the opportunity to actually go do something in the games, and we have failed spectacularly.
Wasn't it the Cardinals, Seahawks, and Jets?
All 3 of those.
The bird teams. That was a joke.
That was a good joke.
Thank you. I think you were up like significantly at one point in that game, right?
The Jets, we were never winning that game. By the way, we were always like losing that game. I don't know what happened.
I thought there. I feel like
I'm sorry. We were up. It wasn't significant. We were up like 14-7, and then we didn't score. Then we were up 17-7 on the Seahawks. Didn't score in the second half. We were up 21-6 on the Cardinals. Shoot, we were up 20-something, 24-3 on the Giants. We won 33-25. But my thing is like, it doesn't make sense because we were down 17-7 to the Chiefs in Arrowhead and did not allow a single point in the second half. Won the game. We were down like 21-7 or something, 17-7 or something crazy like that to the Bills. Came back and won that game. Like, we were losing to the Cowboys at one point during that game, and we went and beat them.
It seems like the Eagles played the Niners
and forgot how to play
kind
football.
of hit their skid, yeah.
Like, it was so frustrating. Like, losing back-to-back games to the 2 teams we lost back-to-back games to, cool, right? I didn't even care that we got blown out. I didn't even care. Because at that point, we weren't in a situation where I was like, okay, we're worse than them. We could still be the 1 seed. We could still be the 2 seed. The game that really was telling was the game against the Seahawks. And the reason I say that is because the defense in the last 3 games has been the one to give up on us. Now, the offense has not had its moments. I'll tell you that much. But the defense has given up the big plays at the moments that we didn't need the big plays. Because they've failed us spectacularly. I don't know what you do as an offense when you put up 24 points. Your defense gets a pick 6, you put up 24 points, and you lose. What are you supposed to do there? It's not your offense. Tough. It's not your offense. You had Julio Jones catch 2 touchdown passes this game. Hurts, albeit did not throw for a lot of yards, but the brother threw 3 touchdowns. 167, 18 of 23, 167 yards, 3 touchdowns. His pick was the Hail Mary at the end of the game. Oh, no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh well.
My biggest issue, and I think this is the ongoing trend, and I think this is weird. I'm not fully blaming Nick Sirianni. I am, however, blaming everyone else's coach. Every other coach in this freaking roster needs some form of blame. Nick is like, he deserves blame, but not as much criticism as blame as he is being given. Because he's getting all of it.
Yeah.
We switched defensive coordinators a few weeks ago. Matt Patricia is calling the defense. And he blew last game. No questions asked. Sean Desai was not great.
Listen.
Hear me.
That's a map. I think that's a Matt Patricia problem, not an Eagles problem. If it makes you
also
feel
valid. Again, also valid. I think our offensive coordinator
was a great
idiot.
Matt Patricia was a great coach in the same way Josh McDaniels was a great coach.
Correct. The Patriots, man.
Yeah.
Our offensive coordinator. Dude, I've lost your name. Brian Johnson, that's your name. You can't call QB power every time we need a play. Jalen Hurts' knee is fucked. Throw the ball, dude. I don't care if we throw an interception. I really don't. I just want you to take the risk. feel like the reason that we were so successful last season is because we made risks, because A.J. Brown is always fucking open. Devontae Smith makes acrobatic catches. Dallas Goedert is a monster. Like, you have weapons. Throw the ball. If you're not, and stop running with your quarterback, hand it off to Swift. DeAndre Swift is right there. He had 13 carries last game, and we were up 21-6.
You're asking Jalen Hurts to be the MVP when he needs to win the game.
He doesn't have to be.
He doesn't have to be an all-star.
He doesn't. He was a
your
pro.
offense is loaded.
He was an all-pro last season.
Yeah.
Because he did exactly that. You do not have to have him run. When he runs, he's great. Do not get me wrong. But when you call it every other play, it's going to look stupid because they know. They know what's coming. And we settle for a field goal.
I heard somebody say that, and I think this is fairly accurate, is it feels like it's a college offense.
Yes, I agree. I don't know what, like, Brian Johnson was our quarterback's coach last year, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not mistaken.
I believe it was, if I remember, I feel like I remember it being an internal promotion where they didn't go hire an OC yet.
No, he was internal. I just don't remember what his position was exactly. Yeah, he was just our QB's coach last year. He was a mentor for... Yeah, he was the quarterback's coach last year, which is great. But before he was the quarterback's coach, can you tell me what professional football team he was on or coached? I'll give you a hint.
He spent his entire career in the NCAA.
Yes!
I'm looking at it right now.
Yes! Utah, Mississippi State, Houston, Florida. And then came over to Philly? Don't get me wrong. Did wonders for Jalen Hurts last year as a quarterback's coach. But now he's calling plays, and now either Nick Sirianni needs to take over for the playoffs, because I'd rather Nick Sirianni call the plays. Even if we fail, I want something different. Honestly, I don't want any of our coordinators back. Like, losing Shane Steichen was by far the biggest issue. I love Steichen. I think he's phenomenal. Honestly, I'd rather Frank Wright right now. My brother's sitting at home doing nothing. Bring him in just for the playoffs, bro. I don't even care. Literally, there's so many people I'd rather have in our offensive coordinator room right now.
It feels very deja vu because I saw this really interesting tweet, and I want to know your thoughts on this scenario. So the Eagles had a miraculous run off of somebody who nearly won the MVP and went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they played against a legend and played against a legendary quarterback and coach duo, and then you go and lose your coordinators and you make it to the playoffs, but honestly have a pretty disappointing run in those playoffs and didn't look quite like the team that made the Super Bowl the year before.
Dude, I'd argue
implode.
I'd argue. I'm gonna
was
argue
was I talking about this year
or 2018?
Or was I talking about 2018? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd argue 2018 was a great run. By the way, we had no business winning a playoff game, and we went as a 5th seed. One on the road in Chicago.
But I think, relatively speaking, that's a disappointing season.
I disagree. If
you won the Super Bowl the year before, I think it is.
I get you. But, like, it just shows how hard it is to get to the Super Bowl. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
We were in the divisional. We were a final 18. Like, that's pretty solid. Sorry. I don't care what anyone says. Like, this year, it's a disappointment because this team should win a Super Bowl. This team is Super Bowl winning. Like, this team is better than last year's team. Like, no questions asked. However...
Oh, yeah. 100%. If you consider the player talent, strictly speaking,
player talent.
You lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. What else did you really, lose in free agency?
We lost Kaiser White. We lost T.J. Edwards. Those are... I think T.J. Edwards was the biggest loss, in my humble opinion. We lost our left guard, Isaac Sumalu. Which, I mean, dude, Landon Dickerson looks great. So... And then so does Cam. Or maybe it was our right guard, and Cam Jurgens stepped in. My fault. Jurgens looks great. The biggest issue has been linebacker play and obviously safety play. We lost both safeties because we lost Marcus Epps as well. However, Marcus Epps wasn't that great. We have Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard has kind of just been there.
And it feels like you upgraded at running back quite a bit.
Yes. I would say quite a bit. Miles Sanders looked good last year. He just...
I think he did, yeah.
He got more touches last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
So this is the biggest thing that I look at when I'm looking at this team and why I'm trying not to say this with COPIUM, Okay, I want you guys to understand I'm not saying this with copium. This is why I have hope that the Eagles can actually win playoff games. Okay, the games we've been losing outside of the Cowboys and Niners, which we deserve to lose those games based on how we played. We've deserved to lose every game we've played, just so we're clear. We have not had Darius Slay for the last 3 games, and we've lost on game-winning touchdowns through the air. Boom. We've not had Avonte Maddox until this game. This is the first game back. I can understand. When you have Darius Slay and Ringo playing how he's been very good, by the way. A little bit of an issue against the Cardinals, which crazy. I don't know what happened there. And you put Maddox back in. That is a good cornerback room.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
great
good
secondary.
Cornerback room.
It's a solid secondary.
Reed Blankenship has been playing above his pay grade. No questions asked. He's like phenomenal. He's a great tackler. He's great in coverage. Very good. He's been really good. He has his moments, but he's also a second-year dude who was like undrafted. What do you expect, right? I don't expect him to go and lock up DK Metcalf, okay? Kevin Byard, I think is solid. I don't think he's been phenomenal for us, but he has a pick. He picked off Mahomes. We see flashes. We've seen things happen where he can play great. Now, our linebacker room is where it sucks because we've been missing 1 or 2 or both starting linebackers every game since like the Cowboys game. Literally our biggest issue has been running up the middle, and we have no linebackers to help us. So that's been our biggest issue. We'll have healthy linebackers for the playoffs based off of, I think Cunningham's going to be out for this game. I think we'll have Morrow back, and then they should both be healthy for the wildcard game. Same with Darius Slay. Darius Slay had surgery after the Cowboy game. Should be back. He's been a big reason why we've been losing these games and not closing them out, just so we're clear. Because I don't think the Seahawks win their game on a game-winning touchdown, because if that's Darius Slay, that's an interception or pass breakup, not a touchdown. Same with the Cardinals. That same play, if that is Darius Slay, that is not an incomplete pass. I have full faith in that. Like, I'm not saying hype. I'm not giving you make believe. I'm telling you fact. If that is Darius Slay, that is incompletion. Darius Slay has been easily our best cornerback all season, and he's been getting unnecessary hate. Just so we're clear. I love the Eagles, and I know they are my favorite team. I have hope because of injuries. If the offense can get their shit together, that is it. If they can put their egos or whatever they got going on to the left and be like, yo, we want to win a Super Bowl, they have hope. If they can't do that, if Brian Johnson can't get his shit together and call something not named QB power on a 3rd and 15 or wide receiver screen to Julio fucking Jones on a 3rd and 17, we can do something. I'm telling you, it is possible. My issue is it's like they did it at the wrong time. If we had this issue after the Jets game, we would probably had our shit together by now. But we were too good early on. That was the issue. So, who knows? Hopefully they have a really good game against the Giants and we can rest our team in the second half and win our game and then pray that... when do the Cowboys play their game?
Cowboys play...
That matters a ton.
In the afternoon, same time the Eagles do.
Okay. So maybe we can rest our starters regardless of the Cowboys outcome. We can maybe see the score at halftime and make a judgment call on that. The Lions play same time as us too, huh? No, the Lions play before us. So we'll know, because if the Lions, it doesn't matter if the Lions win. We just need the Cowboys to lose, right? So yeah. So that's all that matters. We'll also see if the Lions lose, because that's huge for us too, like motivational wise. So we'll see. I just want to be in a scenario where I don't care about the home game really. I just want to see my team play well. Because if we lose, cool, we're the 5 seed. If we win, maybe we're the 2 seed. Probably still the 5 seed. I just want to see them play well. You know what I mean?
I get you.
I want them to look like the team.
Put on a half at least.
Yes, put on a good show. Like literally, the game against the Cardinals, first half, that was the team I waited for all season. They've been the last like 6 games. That's the team I've been wanting to see, and then they blew it. It's like they were perfect and then they sucked. It feels like Buffalo. They were perfect and then they sucked, or they sucked and then they were perfect. Like we can't put together a full game to save our lives. Seahawks, great play calling first half, terrible play calling second half. I don't know what happened. It's like they want to chew clock, but then don't give the ball to DeAndre Swift. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like, are there too many mouths to feed? No, because we have a 1,000-yard rusher, 2 1,000-yard receivers, and Hurts is almost over 4,000 yards, I think. Like, Hurts has 3,800 yards. Like, it doesn't. It pains me to I don't understand. He's having a better year, yards wise, and touchdowns wise than last year. Obviously, his interceptions are way up, but he has more yards, more tutties through the air, and his completion percentage is literally slightly lower. He was at 6.65 last year. He's at 6.61 this year. His rating obviously is lower because more interceptions, but like it's like we're taking unnecessary risks because we're putting ourselves in stupid situations because we're calling stupid plays on first and second down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Jets game didn't help. So we'll see. But I think there's like as least COPIUM as like realistic as possible. I'm not saying we're fully to blame, like injuries fully blame. No, our play is still atrocious. We need to win. Like we need to play well against the Giants to feel like good going into the playoffs against. Honestly, I pray the Bucs lose because I'd rather play the Falcons or the Saints. Doesn't matter which one.
Oh, for sure.
I don't care which one. Because when it comes to guarding people, do I want to guard Chris Godwin and Mike Evans? Or do I want to go guard who the Falcons have? Drake London? They don't throw to Kyle Pitts, so... Or do I want to go Chris Olave? Because Michael Thomas isn't playing, right? Or is he playing?
I don't think Michael Thomas is playing. I don't think he's been playing for a minute.
I don't know anymore. So, I'm just saying. Mike Evans has had a phenomenal season, so I'd rather go try to not lock him up. But if Darius Slay is playing, then maybe I don't care that much. So I just want to win. I'm cool if they go win the playoff game in the wild card in stunning fashion. Then we head, dude. Honestly, best case scenario is we have the 2 seed. But if we have to go head to San Francisco after a hot win, honestly, who knows?
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm picking the Eagles to win playoff games. I'm not picking them, just so we're all aware.
Yeah. I think it's fair.
My brain will tell me to pick the Niners over the Eagles, but I'm not doing that. I understand why everyone else would. But the last time everyone told us we weren't going to win football games, we won a fucking Super Bowl. So, yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of what you said is wrong at all.
So much stupid stuff, man. It's just so... It's like little things. We're beating ourselves, bro. We should be a 1 seed. We literally should be a 1 seed. There are literally 3 games we could have easily just been fine. We just chose to just self-implode. Oh, it's so frustrating, man. Anyway. All right. Any closing remarks on the Birds?
I got nothing. Let's drop some Preddies.
Let's throw the Preddies up.
Final week of the Week 18 regular season.
You're cooking me in Preds right now.
I am. I'm up 7 games.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you need some help.
Yeah.
To say the least.
I don't know if I have... We're going to have similar picks. I feel it, but we'll see how it goes.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We do have 2 games happening on Saturday this week. The rest of them are on Sunday. And these are 2 pretty important games.
Correct.
One objectively more important than the other, for sure. But one which has some significance because if the Steelers need to win this game to stay alive for the most part. They can still technically make it in if they lose, but it's not very likely at all.
Right.
But we do have Steelers and Ravens. Ravens for sure have the 1 seed locked
Correct.
up. Are the Ravens sitting any starters?
I don't know. They should. I don't know if they are, but what just happened?
As of 23 hours ago, John Harbaugh unsure. As of 12 hours ago, Steelers are now favorites in this game, as the Ravens are likely to rest players.
Yeah, but they said, should Ravens sit starters? John Harbaugh said about similarity between this and the 2019 season when they did the same thing, and then they lost to the Titans.
Yeah.
So I think they're resting. They're most likely going to play maybe like a half and then rest. That's what I would think.
Maybe.
Kind of like preseason.
Miles, hush boy. Nobody cares.
I care, Miles. It's okay, buddy.
I think that was Katie getting home.
I got it. Well, we're wrapping up here soon. Don't worry.
Yep. So I think either way, I'm gonna go with the Ravens, honestly.
I'm actually gonna pick the Steelers. I think they rest and the Steelers get a big win to try to make playoffs here. They got a lot to play
I think
for.
I think the Ravens want to slaughter the Steelers because that's Ravens and Steelers.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pick the Steelers because I want to be a little
All
different.
Right. Our other Saturday game. This is for a playoff spot. Texans at Colts.
Yeah,
winner is in the playoffs.
No matter what scenario,
loser is likely out.
Tough game to call.
So,
should be a banger.
This should be a banger. I think this is an excellent matchup to have on a Saturday night. I'm gonna go with Houston on the road. I think they're the better team.
I wanted to pick Houston in this game, but Indianapolis being at home gave me the slight edge on this one. I think. So I'm gonna pick Indianapolis to win this game.
Yeah, I'm
feel
going
like it's
with
a coin flip. Honestly, let's be real. Tough game to call.
Sunday morning, we got Jags, we got Titans. Jags need to win this game to stay alive for sure. I think if they lose, they're still maybe in, but I think they need to win this game for the most part. So I'm gonna go with Jacksonville on the road to beat the Titans.
I also picked Jacksonville
because
on the road.
I think it matters a little bit more for them, and I think the Titans are kind of toast.
Yeah, they don't really care at all whatsoever. So I am going to.
There are stories coming out that Mike Vrabel's not really happy with his situation. His contract expires this year. Fun fact.
Yeah, he's
so
probably wrapping.
There's
it up.
possibly a scenario where Vrabel's not in Tennessee anymore, so he doesn't need to care. All right, we got Vikings, we got Lions. Lions need to win this game to possibly lock up the 2 seed. Obviously, it matters what happens in the Eagles-Giants game and the Cowboys-Commanders game.
Correct.
But this game, and Vikings need to win this game to have a chance at the playoffs. It's already slim, but I'm going to go with the Lions at home. I think Dan Campbell has already said they're not resting starters at all for sure. They're full throttle, full gas, which doesn't surprise me about Dan Campbell.
Not even a little bit, honestly, and I love it. However, I have to suck the copium because I want the Lions to lose this football game. So I'm going to go Vikings to win the game. Not because I want to, but because I need to.
Fair enough. Okay.
I feel like it's a valid reason.
Yep. We got Falcons. We got Saints in New Orleans. This is possibly for a playoff spot, depending on what shakes down in the Buccaneers-Panthers game. I think head-to-head, these two teams are weird. They're disappointing in some respects, and then they go out and win in incredible fashion in some games. I'm going to go with New Orleans.
I also picked New Orleans to win this game.
Okay.
So 3 different so far is what I gauged from the first 5 games. I picked the Steelers, I picked the Colts, and I picked the Vikings. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm down 7. I need some coin flips here.
It's fair, yeah. So we got Jets-Patriots next. This game doesn't matter for either team. Both are out.
Playoff. I mean, picks in the draft. That's it.
My gut tells me Jets on the road. I couldn't tell you why. I think they have the longer week, to be fair. So I'm going with Jets on the road.
Okay. I'm taking the Patriots at home. The Patriots actually won some pretty interesting football games recently. So and they've been playing close to a lot of the other teams. And the Jets have been meh. So I'm gonna take the Patriots. Why not?
Fair enough. Okay.
Let Belichick go out in style, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We got Bucks, we got Panthers in Carolina.
Important game for the Bucks.
Important game for the Bucks, and I think they win it because it is so important.
I agree. I feel like that's a no-brainer to me.
Yep. Okay, we got Browns, we got Bengals in Cincinnati. Bengals are for sure out, Browns are for sure in.
And
this really only matters.
Anything.
Yeah, nothing adjusts with this game. This really only matters because these two teams hate each other. That's about it. So I think I'm just going to go with the better team and go with the Browns on the road.
I'm going to take the Bengals because I think the Browns end up resting people because they don't want their old quarterback who's trying to actually win games and Myles Garrett to get hurt. So
I think Joe Flacco has incentives per win.
Oh, that's valid. But if he just plays at the beginning of the game, can't he just sit and coast the game? Or does he have to play a certain amount of quarters?
I do not know, actually.
Well, I'm still picking the Bengals.
I don't know the full extent. Yeah. Okay. We got Bears. We got Packers. Packers are trying to stay alive. Bears are for sure out. It's in Lambeau Field. Bears don't usually win there. I'm going with Green Bay.
Same.
It matters more
Doesn't
for them.
matter. It doesn't matter. I'm lying to you. I'm definitely picking the Browns, by the way, because I already put my bet in. And I don't want to change my answer. Enough. Sorry.
Okay.
I want to now, but I can't. So I'm picking the Packers, by the way, and the Browns. I apologize.
Okay. We got Cowboys. We got Commanders. This game matters a lot for the potential seeding in the NFC playoff race.
Actually, this is if they lose, they could lose the NFC East. That's how important this is.
So I just have little to no faith in the Commanders, though. So I'm going to go with Cowboys.
I have zero faith in the Commanders to win this football game. However, I have to have copium, so I'm taking the Commies.
Yeah. Speaking of copium,
I have to have copium, bro.
Yeah. Speaking of Copium, Broncos at Raiders. Both these teams are for sure out. This game matters a little bit, potentially in some like very minuscule playoff scenarios.
This matters for your schedule next year though, because I think if you lose this game, you will play all the 3 teams, like the teams in the 3 slots. So that matters for that too.
Okay.
So technically, this game has some value.
Doesn't matter. It's the Raiders, and I hope they all die. So I'm going with the Broncos.
I'm taking the Raiders because I'd rather see Jacksonville in the playoffs than the Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're playing for that very minuscule.
Correct.
It matters scenario. Okay. I'm going for the I'm picking the Broncos because I don't pick the Raiders to beat the Broncos.
No,
Sorry.
valid. That's completely valid. That's 100%. That's like me picking the Eagles to lose the Cowboys. That's 100% valid.
Yep. Speaking of them, we got the Eagles, we got the Giants. This time it's in New York, but it is a rematch from a couple weeks ago on Christmas Day. It's in MetLife, and that's dangerous.
Listen, I'm telling you, I did not want to have an important playoff game having to be played in MetLife.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Eagles, but I think this is a dangerous game.
You and me both. I hope we're up by like 3 touchdowns in the third, going into the fourth, so we don't have to play anyone and everyone's healthy at that point. So give me the Birds. The only positive about this is Darius Slay's probably not playing.
Yeah. Okay, we got birds. These ones are blue birds. These ones are desert birds. We got Seahawks. We got Cardinals in the desert.
Seahawks need to win. They have to win this
game. Seahawks need to
game.
win to stay alive. Cardinals are for sure out. I'm going to go with the Seahawks on the road.
I'll take the Cardinals. After what I just saw, the Cardinals are a really good football team. Because I'm also showing that the fact that the freaking Cardinals didn't have Kyler Murray for most of the season actually tells me a lot more than I needed to.
Jonathan Gannon has stated, by the way, I don't know if you saw these, that the quote, one is for sure our franchise QB.
He should be. He's cooking.
He should be.
He's cooking. Don't draft him a receiver.
If it were up to Jonathan Gannon, I think if Kyler Murray is staying in the desert, I think it's up to Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that's true. Side note, though, I think now that you have a different coach, though, you could see that you guys can actually win. Gannon is great as a head coach. He was not that great as a defensive coordinator. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Good for him, though. I'm happy for him. I really am. I'm genuinely happy for him. You know what I'm more happy for? Steichen on the Colts. Very happy for him. He's looking great.
Yep. Okay, we got Rams, we got Niners in San Francisco.
Christian McCaffrey's not playing.
He is not playing. I believe they're resting him. He got a little bit banged up at the end of the Commanders game. They're just resting him for sure. They have the 1 seed locked up. I don't think it matters.
Correct.
I believe they're still coming to the decision on whether they're going to rest everybody else.
I think Purdy's going to end up sitting for Darnold. This is my prediction. Purdy ends up sitting for Darnold, and I think Debo goes out because I think he has an incentive that he wants to reach still.
Okay. So I'm going to go with the Niners, honestly.
I'm taking the Rams. Okay. This isn't COPIUM, actually. This doesn't matter. I just, honestly, I want the Rams to win so they have a designated 6 seed because Rams Lions.
Yep.
That's what I want. There's my COPIUM reasoning.
Okay. We got Chiefs, we got Chargers. I mean, Chiefs, right?
I'm taking the Chargers, baby! Yeah, Chiefs aren't playing anyone, bro!
Are the Chiefs not playing anyone?
Dude, what do they have to play for? They're the 3 seed no matter how it shakes up, man. They can't go lower, they can't go higher. They're gonna Andy Reid is notorious for resting people. He does it all the time. Especially when they don't need to. Or when
they're still undecided.
They're not playing people. It's Andy Reid, bro. I live this.
Okay. Then in that case, I'm going to go with the Chargers.
I hate you. I want you to stick with it, man. I need to shake it up.
Fine, whatever. I'm going with the Chiefs.
No, it's okay. You can pick whatever you want. I'm just messing with you.
Okay, fine. I'm picking the Chargers.
Okay. If they don't end up resting people, I'm going to feel like an idiot, but I think there's no reason they don't rest people. Andy Reid almost always does this shit. So.
Okay. We got Bills, we got Dolphins on the regular season finale. This is to win the AFC East. Both these teams need a huge win because the loser is a wildcard team and does not play their playoff game at home. My gut tells me, I don't know, just a feeling deep in my belly, I'm going with the Bills on the road.
Oh, I took the Bills too. They're looking better.
I think they're just a little bit hotter.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins are coming off a pretty devastating loss to the Ravens.
Yeah.
My gut just tells me Bills.
Yeah, my gut is also telling me Bills. So, running it back real quick for me, I took the Steelers, Colts, Jaguars, Vikings, Saints, Patriots, Buccaneers, Browns, Packers, Commanders, Raiders, Eagles, Cardinals, Rams, Chargers, Bills.
So we are all over the place because I took the Ravens, Texans, Jaguars, Lions, Saints, Jets, Buccaneers, Browns, Packers, Cowboys, Broncos, Eagles, Seahawks, 49ers, Chargers, and Bills.
Okay, for recap purposes, you took the Ravens, right? So we both Saturday games were different. So 2.
Yes.
We both took the Jags. Vikings, Lions is different.
Yep. We both picked the Saints.
We both picked the Saints. You picked the Jets.
I did pick the Jets.
I'm the Patriots, so half. We both picked the Bucs. We both picked the Browns.
Yes, yes.
Packers, we
both picked the Packers.
I picked the Commanders and the Raiders.
Yes, yes.
You picked the other 2. I picked the Cards. You picked the Seahawks.
Yes.
I picked the Rams. You picked the Niners.
Yes, and then we both picked the Chargers. We both picked the Bills.
I want you to know that it's 8 games different. So if all of those games go my way, this would be the greatest comeback.
Leader, yeah.
That'd be the greatest comeback in history. I'm not exaggerating.
You would not. If that happens, you will not see me on the podcast next week.
Dude,
I'll be passing away.
But to be fair, if one of those does not go my way, I think you for sure win.
No, because we got the playoffs.
Oh, sure, true. I just need like half of them to go my way to close the gap. That's all.
Yeah, this is not locked up at all.
Yeah, if I can get a plus like 4 on you this week, that's a win. Ideally, let me go 16-0, man. Ideally, that'd be insane.
I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, win some money, and I get to come back in pick'ems. I am undefeated in pick'ems, by the way. If anyone did not know the history, this is season 4. Yeah. I won the first 3.
Yep.
And we no longer can have the ongoing joke. I brought Eric on for his brain.
Yeah, my football expertise.
Because he finally would have done it to me. Okay, I'm going to pick the money line this time, because last time, for some reason, I was dumb and picked the spreads.
I was too busy beating your woman in fantasy football.
You were cooking her.
To worry about you.
Yeah. She won. You beat me. It's crazy, because you beat me in the semifinals to beat her in the finals.
Yeah.
What a time.
In all seriousness, please tell her GG and that I love her.
Oh, yeah. No, it was fun. She was upset because Breece Hall popped off. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
She saw Breece Hall she said it was Jover at that moment.
I even played Josh Jacobs, and he sat.
Yeah.
So.
I said there was hope, because after the first game, I was like, oh, there's hope. Josh Jacobs is playing. And then I don't remember who else was cooking, but it was someone else.
I also had CeeDee Lamb.
That was it. I was like, CeeDee Lamb started cooking. I was like, oh, yeah, it's Jover. I'm sorry.
Yep, best trade I ever made. Thanks for that, by the way.
Dude, honestly cost me a playoff game. I actually could have, if I had CD, if the roles reversed, I would have won the entire thing. No questions asked. That's what's even crazy. I also probably would have been a higher seed, because I would have had CeeDee Lamb all season instead of having half a team. Because I lost Nick Chubb, then I lost Kyron Williams, then I lost Justin Jefferson. It was rough.
Yep.
Jamar Chase at the end of the season. Who'd you pick? Bears, Packers? You picked the Packers.
I picked the Packers.
You picked the Cowboys. Oh my gosh. You picked the Cowboys. You picked the Seahawks. You picked the Rams or you picked the Niners.
I picked the Niners.
You picked the Eagles. You picked the Broncos. You picked the Chiefs. No, you picked the Chargers with me, and you picked Buffalo. Let me run it through real quick just to make sure I'm not crazy, okay? Okay, no, that's not what I want. You picked Ravens, Texans, Saints, Browns.
Yes.
Jags, Bucks, Jets.
Yes.
Lions, Packers, Cowboys, Seahawks.
Yes.
Niners, Eagles, Broncos, Chargers, Bills.
Yes. All accurate.
Got it. Locked in. So, for context sake, I always like to tell the 6-leg parlay, because mine is about to be drastically different than yours. Yours, the dollar wage, wins $6,575.90. Not bad. Mine, $46,479.48. And I picked them all money line.
Might as well.
Could you imagine? I swear to God, if mine goes off this week, I'm literally posting it on Twitter, and I'm going to become famous off of a tweet.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, and I'll be like mildly rich after paying off debts. I will no longer have money.
Yeah.
So actually, it's not that bad. I don't have $46,000 worth of debt, but it would make up for all the times I've lost. So
it's true.
So yeah. All right. Well, that is all from us. Is there anything else you want to say, sir?
Dude, I got nothing.
All right. Playoffs.
We'll see you in the playoffs.
We'll see you then. We'll see you guys playoff week, Super wild card week. will be official next week. And with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that happy-go-lucky fun stuff that you guys love to do for us, because we really appreciate it. And we will catch you guys next week with the playoff seeding, and we hope and pray and cope that the Philadelphia Eagles are doing something right. All right, we'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone, and we'll see you next week. From us over at Behind Blaze, my name is Davion. That is Eric, and we are out of here. Peace.
See ya.